Hi, this is a video response to Alana, aka Suburban Mom, all the way over there in Missouri, and your 6 questions, which I found quite intriguing. I'm just walking the dog at the moment, who is actually doing very little in the way of walking. Buddy, you can do that in the house all day long. Go and sniff stuff. Yes, go on, go on. Right. Question numero uno. Would I, if it was an untraceable crime, would I steal $10 million? Well, by definition, if it's untraceable, then the only person who's going to know about it would be me and my conscience. So it's really, it's a moral dilemma, isn't it? Also, I suppose it depends on the nature of the crime. I mean, if the crime itself was simply stealing $10 million, you know, if I was to come across it lying in the middle of the street, or perhaps, you know, in the back of a security truck that some silly security guy had left the door open or something, then perhaps, if it wasn't doing anybody any harm, you know, if this wasn't someone's savings or their, you know, if a business wasn't going to, you know, if it was a huge, massive insurance company, for example, or a massive conglomerate like Sony or one of these companies that wouldn't really miss $10 million, then perhaps, yes, I think my conscience might be able to handle that. But if it was going to hurt anybody, then no, I wouldn't do it. Have I vomited in the last year? Well, actually, no, I haven't. I'm not a very vomity person. The last time I was actually sick was on the 2nd of January, about 2 or 3 years ago. And it wasn't because I'd had too much to drink, you know, with New Year celebrations. And in actual fact, this particular year I had less to drink than I would on a normal Saturday night or Sunday night or Monday through Friday night. And it was in the middle of the night. I woke up, felt a bit funny, went to the loo, came back to bed and thought, no, this isn't over. I better get up again. So I went back through to the toilet, had that sort of funny feeling, and I thought, I'm going to wait to be sick. Well, actually, it was more a case of, I'm going to wait to and was promptly sick. And it was one of those ones where I was, after, you know, I'd gone through the actions, it was brushed my teeth, thought I feel fine, went to bed and was asleep within about 5 minutes, which is unusual because guys, you know, when we're ill, you know, we think we're dying, and certainly when I'm being sick and when I'm vomiting, that is very much the case. It's that sort of, it's the anticipation, isn't it? You think, I'm going to be sick, I'm going to be sick, I'm going to be sick, and then your body spasms, and then your tongue does that thing where it tries to escape, doesn't it? Because it knows what's coming. Yeah, a couple of years ago. So far, fingers crossed, not within the last year. Right, what was the other questions? Let me see. I've got a little bit of paper and everything. Very well prepared. Allergic. What am I allergic to? Well, as Pope Benedict XVI said on YouTube, I am also allergic to work. It doesn't bring me out in a rash. But hay fever, I get hay fever. I'm allergic to grass pollen, the tiny little stuff you can't see, and it's usually middle of June to middle of July. That's my worst time. And because I work night shift, grass pollen is microscopic in size, and what tends to happen is during the middle of the day when it gets really warm and the thermals, the air currents rise up, it takes the grass pollen with it up into the sort of upper regions. So the middle of the day is not too bad, but it's when it cools down at night that all this warm air then cools and falls and brings with it all the pollen. So during the night is an absolute nightmare. So when I'm on night shift, and just right outside our fire exit door, which we keep open in the summer, there's a great big grassy field. So that could be absolutely hell on earth for me. So I'm allergic to grass pollen, June to July, nightmare. Disease. Right, well, I mean, everybody says cancer, and yes, I'm kind of scared of cancer as well. But cancer is a physical disease, and I have some inside knowledge that it is actually quite a curable disease. A lot of people don't think it is, but there are remedies. Although you're not, believe it or not, you're not allowed to actually make that claim. If I suddenly discovered something today that cured cancer, like that, you know, you could eat it and you can actually see the cancer physically disappearing, I would not be allowed by law to say that I've discovered a cure for cancer. The pharmaceutical companies have a monopoly on this. But cancer, you know, if you get cancer of the knee or the leg or the stomach or whatever, you can physically cut it out. It's like cutting rust off a car, but you know, obviously once you cut the rust off a car, it's left, it's probably going to rust as well. But so yeah, cancer is a worry, but the diseases that I'm most frightened of are the diseases of the mind, like Alzheimer's, because you can't cut your mind off, and I'm not sure if that's curable. Well, apparently one of the things that can cause Alzheimer's is silver amalgam fillings, and I actually have an entire tooth constructed of this stuff, which is kind of a worry. But like the cancer, as I say, I mean, I'm sure it is curable, but the pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know that. I mean, they are companies, they're businesses, they exist to make money. And what would be the point in making a drug that cures you when they can make another drug that you have to use 10 times over every year, year in, year out? But I'm just a cynic. So yeah, diseases of the mind. Warped mind, some might say. I already have that. Clothing. I'm a guy, so you can change the question from how many times a day to how many times a week. No, that's not true. Yes, it is. I'll probably change sometime today, maybe once. Although what I tend to do is put out the clothes that I intend to wear the following day, so that when I get up in the morning, shower, I just get straight into them. Cuts things down to a minimum. I like what Einstein did. You know, he had this, you know, 10 shirts the same, 10 pairs of pants the same, 10. You know, all these clothes were exactly the same because he didn't then have to think about what he was going to wear because it was all the same. That's clever. I mean, never mind the theory of relativity. That gets my vote. Cloning. Oh, now we're onto a hot topic, a hot potato. Do I believe in cloning? No, I don't. In fact, I don't believe really in interfering with any of the natural laws. But, I mean, you could bet your bottom dollar that somewhere under the Nevada desert, some scientists have cloned a human being. If they can clone a sheep, and that's what they're letting us see. I mean, it's obviously the moral implications, isn't it, about cloning a person. But I am positive that the military chiefs, I mean, sci-fi fiction, sci-fi films aside, the practicalities of a cloned army is, I mean, you can see the benefits. I mean, why send Johnny Dimpleface out into war, you know, leaves behind a wife, a couple of kids, grieving parents, when you can send Trooper 1138 out, you know? And if you're cloning them, you know, you can clone them without the mental trappings of a normal human being, you know, no fear, no pity. You know, basically Terminators, in other words. So, I'm sure it's been done, but do I believe in it? I mean, there's all this thing about stem cell. I don't know what I've done with my tongue this morning. I don't know, it was when I was trying to escape, I think. Stem cell research that Christopher Reeve was trying to bring to everybody's attention. You know, it's the moral seesaw. What do you do? Is it right or wrong? But if I was going to if I was going to clone something, I myself would be the, you know, just like Michael Keaton did in Multiplicity. I'd have a selection of clones. There'd be the effeminate one that stayed home and cleaned the house. There'd be the butch one who would go out and work in the factory for me, putting in all the overtime. There's also the retarded one that likes monkeys. I don't know if I'd have him. I mean, I pretty much fill that role as it is. So, that's my 6 questions, and judging by the timer on here, I'm sitting at something like 10 minutes, so I'm sorry about that. I'm just, as I say, out here walking the dog. I'll pan you around, you can see where I am. Nice little place. You can hear the birdies chirping away. And Buddy once again has decided he's going to have a sit down. Bud! You'll regret it when we get home. It's actually quite a nice day now. Look, the sun's come out. Can I justify the fact that I'm wearing sunglasses? Well, Alana, I hope that answers your 6 questions, and hopefully we'll hear more questions from you soon. Toodaloo, the new.